All right. Well, welcome back. And this is 247 EVL. Just in case anybody was wondering, I actually do use my truck for what it was intended and designed for. Yeah. So, I mean, there's a box there. So today we got a little gardening project going on. And I thought, well, it's just easy to pick it up with the truck. And that's what it was built for. So, yeah, I actually do use my truck for hauling stuff. I mean, not all the time. Haven't really trailered with it. It's not my plan with this truck, but the box does get used, and I have a nice lowrider lid on there, low max, and that does help keep things secure back there. It's more like a big trunk, but like these trucks are starting to push on the size of the full sizers. I mean, it's not a whole heck of a lot smaller, than what was a full size truck, uh, 15, 20 years ago, something like that, and so. It's a little narrower, but it's pretty close to the size of what I used to have a 96 GMC Sierra, so it's not too far away from the size of that truck. Okay, the box is a little shorter, but it's not, crazy stupid smaller than my old truck. Not as big as the new Silverados or the new full-size, whatever, Fords or Rams, but yeah, it does the job. Anyways, today I'm going to talk a little bit about a few things. The one, I don't know if you noticed, but on these trucks, on the ZR2s in particular, that little fancy step that GM puts on the bumpers to get into the box is absent, and it's absent for a reason. If you're going to be on the trails with this thing, that little step is going to, I guess it'll get in the way. It's like a departure angle thing, so you don't want to be dragging that step behind you as you're on a trail somewhere. Great. I'm not in any trail anywhere, and I kind of missed that little step. My Canyon had it, and it made it a little easier to get in the box. It's not terribly difficult to get in the box as it is, but that little step was helpful. But still debating whether I'm going to swap the bumper out and put one on that's got the little step in it, or just leave it the way it is. I don't get up in the box too often, but it's always handy to have that. I mean, I do have the side steps, but I could use a tire too, I guess, to get up into the box. So there are ways. It's not the end of the world. It's not to have that little step there. But that was kind of a cool feature I kind of liked. The main focus I want to talk about today is the transmission. So I made a few videos. My first video was made about a year and a half ago, and I've got lots of views on it and lots of comments on it. And people have mentioned to me about their issues with their trucks and the transmission issues they've been experiencing. And my truck has kind of sorted itself out, which is odd. And in previous videos, I've mentioned, I think it's the tires that I had on there before and the rims, and maybe it was. I got that little bit of information from another YouTuber, Ford Tech Make You Loco. He specializes in Fords, and he did a video on how the tires, different tire size, did affect the four-wheel drive engagement in a particular customer's F-150. So drawing on that logic, I'm thinking that was maybe a contributing factor to my truck's issue. But I was watching another video that this same YouTuber, Ford Tech Make You Loco, made very lately. And he was describing how in the case of the Ford F-150, there's a lube kit for the drive shaft splines where they engage each other. And sometimes it's a two-piece drive shaft, sometimes it's a one-piece drive shaft. And the exact description of the symptoms that he described that affect the Ford trucks seemed to be kind of how my truck was behaving when I was having a trouble with it. It was that hard bump from the back, like you almost got rear-ended, and the way he described it, and the best way to do is to really just slow up look at his video, and it's a newer video, but that's exactly what my truck was experiencing. So now I'm starting to wonder, is the transmission really at fault here, or is it something to do with the drive shaft lube, or something to do with that? Because that was kind of how my truck was reacting, but it's not doing it now, mind you. It's not slipping, it's not bumping, it's not clanging, it's not banging, and nothing. But it was. So it's a curious theory. I don't know. It's a curious theory, and maybe it's something worth investigating. And if I have symptoms like that again, or maybe if some of you have symptoms like that with your truck, you might be well advised to go and have that drive shaft situation looked at and say maybe it's within that where the problem is. Maybe it's winding up or binding up. I don't know. But that's kind of how the symptoms were described for the F-150. I'm thinking, okay, a mechanical truck is a mechanical truck, whether it's a Ford, a Chevy, a Ram, or what have you. So is that maybe the issue? Is that something that's worth looking into? Maybe. I don't know. Um, like I said, my truck is not causing me any issues right now, so I'm not going to be going and looking into that any further. But if some of you out there have these issues with the clunking and the bumping and the banging, maybe you should look up that video from Ford Tech Make You Loco, and maybe you could look at it and compare your symptoms, and maybe you can take this information to a dealership, and you might get lucky and you might get a service advisor or a service manager who's willing to look into that for you. And maybe that's what's wrong with these trucks. Some of them. I'm not saying all of them, because some of them have definite problems, like that are torque converter related or valve body related or something other than that. But for those of you who have got that odd, like I can't describe, more like it felt like the truck was being rear-ended, that type of a sensation happening when you downshift or come to a stop, might be well advised to look into that. I don't know. Okay, so besides that, I'm not going to do anything stupid with my truck. I have been watching some other YouTubers, and there is one that I was following. I made a video on the interior of my truck recently, and I didn't mention the fellow's name, but I like his videos. They're entertaining, but he did jump his truck. I mean, it wasn't a crazy stupid jump like that one fool did with that TRX, where he basically totaled a brand new truck, and that was just, I don't know. That was nuts. But this other fellow did make a small jump with his ZR2. I mean, it wasn't a huge one, and the truck took it in no problem. So I think there's no damage to this truck except for maybe a tie rod end or something silly like that in the front end, because they're pretty spindly. They're not really, they could be reinforced. But yeah, so I'm going to wrap this up now. Again, if any of you are having trouble with your truck, check out some other YouTubers' videos. Particularly this Ford Tech Make You Loco. One of his last videos that talked about the drive shaft. Yeah, well, I don't know. Maybe that could be something that the GM twins have, the trucks have, the GM and the C and the Chevy, that we're not aware of. Maybe not, but it's worth looking into. And other than that, it's a beautiful day up here in the Great White North, and I got some unloading to do and some gardening to do. So enough yapping away here. If you enjoyed this video, click like and subscribe. I appreciate all my viewers, and the comments. Please comment below. I try to answer them as I can. And like I said, we learn. I learn from my viewers who put the comments there, and it's a two-way street. So again, thank you very much for watching this video, and until next time, it's 247 EVL. See ya.